Have you ever found that you simply can't get someone out of your head? Maybe it happens before sleep, when everything seems quiet but your mind won't settle. This person turns up uninvited in your thoughts, again and again, as if their presence is somehow mysteriously tied to your own. It might not even be someone you speak to every day. Yet, there they are, lodged in your innermost thoughts, intruding on moments of silence, on the space where reflection lives. And you start to wonder why. Why this one person, out of everyone I know, refuses to leave my mind. In truth, it isn't random, not a mere quirk of the subconscious. These persistent thoughts carry a meaning that reaches far beyond what the rational mind can explain. If you stay with me to the end of this video, I promise you'll understand the deeper, spiritual significance of thinking about someone constantly. You'll not only decode what's happening in your heart, you'll see how these mental ties can be guided by energies that exceed the physical and the everyday. Imagine what might unfold if you uncover the hidden message behind those thoughts. The answer may surprise you. Before we go deeper, take a moment to bring that person to mind, the one you can't stop thinking about. Close your eyes for a second and picture them. You may feel something you can't explain. What you're sensing now is a key, because our emotions are one of the channels the universe uses to speak to us. But what is the universe trying to say by sending someone to us in this way, when a person occupies our thoughts without let up? To understand this better, let me tell you a story. It was a gray autumn evening. A soft wind moved through the trees. Leaves fell as if time itself were slowing down. Anna, 35, sat in a cafe, watching passers-by with a distant gaze. For weeks, she'd felt a restlessness, as if something essential were missing from her life. It wasn't money or love, something deeper, something she couldn't name. Yet one constant kept returning, an old university friend she hadn't spoken to in years, someone she suddenly could not stop thinking about. At first, Anna tried to ignore it, dismissing it as coincidence, the mind's little prank. But the thoughts didn't fade. Whatever she did each day, his image came back. Something about him stirred her, as though something between them had been left unfinished, though she couldn't recall exactly what. One night, struggling to sleep, Anna had a flash of insight. These thoughts weren't only her own. They were a sign, a message from the universe, nudging her toward something she didn't yet fully understand. This is how the universe often works. The people we can't stop thinking about rarely appear by accident. They're here because there's something we need to learn from them, something to grasp at the level of the soul. Perhaps this person is meant to play an important role in your life, or perhaps they already have, and you haven't closed that cycle at a spiritual level. All our connections, all the people who enter our lives, carry a purpose. And when someone takes up that much space in the mind, becomes a constant, we need to ask, what is the universe trying to tell me? On a spiritual level, everything is connected. Every thought, every feeling, every person who shows up in our life carries meaning, carries intention. These bonds, when we think of someone endlessly, are especially powerful. They can be directed by energies that stretch beyond the visible and the tangible. It may even be that this person is experiencing something similar, and that the two of you are linked at an energetic level invisible to the eye. Before we go further, though, we need to name something fundamental, the law of attraction. It teaches that what we focus on, what we think about intensely, tends to manifest in our reality. In other words, thoughts are a form of energy, and that energy can draw to us people, situations, and experiences that resonate with our vibration. If you're constantly thinking about someone, it's possible that this energy is pulling them toward you, physically or spiritually. But here's where it gets interesting. Persistent thoughts of a person don't always mean you should move closer to them or seek a relationship. Sometimes these people show up in our minds to reveal something about ourselves, to reflect a part of our life we haven't yet worked through or understood. Maybe this person embodies an aspect of you that you've been denying. Maybe the thoughts are a sign that there's unfinished business you need to resolve. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a mirror. Every person you dwell on reflects something you carry within. Constant thoughts about someone are an invitation to look inward. What is this person showing me? What are they opening in me? Why do they reappear in my mind over and over? What lesson or message is the universe bringing through these thoughts? Many spiritual traditions speak of soulmates or kindred souls, people with whom we share a connection that transcends time and space. Perhaps you've met them in other lives, or perhaps you're meant to cross paths now to fulfill a shared mission. Sometimes such people arise in our thoughts because our souls are trying to reunite, because there is something we're meant to learn or experience together. In other cases, they come to deliver a crucial lesson, one that may be painful but necessary for growth. And here is where deep reflection matters. How do we tell whether constant thoughts about someone are a signal from the universe or simply an unresolved emotional need? It's important to discern what comes from the soul and what comes from the ego. The ego seeks control and external validation. The soul seeks evolution, growth, and authentic connection. When you can't stop thinking about someone, ask, does this thought bring peace or agitation? Do I feel I'm meant to learn something through this person? Or am I just trying to fill an emotional emptiness? Spiritual and personal growth is a path full of signs, and those signs often arrive through people who step into our lives, physically or mentally. Persistent thoughts of someone are a chance to deepen your growth, to ask questions you may never have asked. What am I seeking in this person? What part of me is asking for healing or understanding? By asking, you make space to explore not only your relationship to that person, but your relationship to yourself. Through this reflective process, remember that the universe is always speaking. Every thought, every feeling, every person in your mind is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself and your spiritual path. If this person keeps appearing in your thoughts, don't dismiss it. Reflect. Meditate. Listen for what your soul and the universe are trying to say. And now you may be asking, what do I do if I simply can't stop thinking about someone? First, don't rush to act. Sometimes the simple acknowledgement that this person occupies space in your mind is enough for the message to unfold. You can meditate, journal, or simply watch your thoughts without judgment. Often, sitting with the thoughts themselves brings the clarity you need. If, however, you feel compelled to say or do something regarding this person, move gently and clearly. Don't act impulsively. Don't let the ego drive. Remember, the purpose of these connections is always growth and evolution. If you choose to move closer to this person, do it with an open heart, intending to learn and to share, not to impose or control. If you choose not to act, that's valid too. Sometimes it's enough to acknowledge the spiritual meaning of these thoughts and release them with gratitude, knowing you've received what you were meant to receive. In the end, the universe is always working in our favor, guiding us toward the people and experiences needed for our spiritual growth. So think again of the person who's been occupying your thoughts. What do you feel now? Is there more clarity? Remember, connections we feel are rarely random. Everything carries purpose. When we begin to notice these signs, we realize life has been leading us towards something greater all along.